while we are on the topic of hypocrisy in the media, let's head to the United States, where progressive poster boy and CNN star journalist Chris Cuomo has been suspended indefinitely. Chris Cuomo is one half of the very famous Cuomo duo, with his brother Andrew being the disgraced former governor of New York. That's right, Andrew Cuomo had to resign because he is a sex pest. He's accused of sexually harassing 11 women during his time in office through actions ranging from sexualised comments to groping and unwanted kissing. But this story is made even more remarkable by the way Andrew handled the crisis. His PR strategy was well coordinated and kept him in office much longer than most would have lasted. He even ran with the defence that his actions were all right because he touches and kisses almost everyone he meets, including strangers on the street.
Indeed, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of photos of me using the exact same gesture. I do it with everyone, black and white, young and old, straight and LGBTQ, powerful people, friends, strangers, people who I meet on the street. After the event, the woman told the press that she took offense at the gesture. And for that, I apologize.
Well, CNN star anchor Chris Cuomo was dragged into this scandal this week after it emerged that he helped his brother coordinate the media defence. This was a breach of CNN's rules, which was already struggling with what to do with such a high-profile anchor who couldn't report or comment on such an important story. So they stood him down, and this is Chris's reading of the situation on his independent podcast.
You know this already. It hurts to even say it. It's embarrassing. But I understand it. And I understand why some people feel the way they do about what I did. I've apologized in the past. I mean it. It's the last thing I ever wanted to do was compromise any of my colleagues and do anything but help. I know they have a process that they think is important. I respect that process. So I'm not going to talk about this any more than that. So for right now, let's just get after it. And there's plenty to do.
Yes, he was trying to help his brother, but don't for a second feel sorry for this highly influential TV personality who takes home more than $6 million a year. He continually used his primetime slot to promote his brother during the pandemic, even though his brother was mishandling his duties.
Video come out before we go to break where you wanted to encourage people to get tested, and some people are afraid it's going to hurt. So you had video of it that I want to show the audience of you actually getting tested. Here it is. There's you. You were kind of funny, and they were testing you. Now, a few questions about this process. First of all, is it true that when you were having the test administered, you inhaled and the doctor's finger went all the way up your nose and got stuck and had to be released with a tool? Is that true?
Well, there was definitely at least one tool being used in this segment, because it later emerged that while all these happy and light TV appearances were going on, Andrew Cuomo was actively covering up the number of COVID deaths in nursing homes, lying about thousands of deaths, all because he was scared of the political blowback. The New York Times reports that Cuomo admitted to fudging official death figures because he feared Donald Trump would use the data against him. Well, when Americans needed factual and objective journalism in the middle of the pandemic, they got a compromised hack covering for his big brother. And will CNN take him back anyway? Only time will tell. Caroline, I would really like to get your thoughts on this. I don't know if you're a fan of Cuomo and the broader CNN operation, but it comes down to a conflict of interest, the way that I look at it. If he is going to be reporting, interviewing his brother, he's bridged that line between the personal and professional. He's dragged his brother into his workplace. When it comes out that he is essentially attempting to silence witnesses, women that have alleged that they've been groped, kissed completely unwanted in the workplace, CNN has no option but to get rid of this guy.
The allegations that have come out, over the course of the last couple of months, but particularly this week, have actually been astounding. And of course, it's a conflict of interest. It's come out this week that Chris Cuomo used his own media sources to background the women who were making accusations against his brother. Now, his brother is not some downtrodden, everyday person in the street. He is the governor of New York, and he's big enough to look after himself. Now, you either do your job properly or you stay well away from that situation, because it is almost impossible to walk that fine line of being objective. And it's one of those cases now which this is going to be something that we are going to talk about in infamy into the future as being just a total betrayal of trust between the people and the media, although, CNN does not probably have a great record on that anyway. But it is one of those instances where you see it go so badly. And there is absolutely no way that you can talk or walk this back. How CNN think they're going to bring him back after this, particularly when it comes to things like trying to distract the conversation away from, the failures of his brother's government at the time, I do not know, because it is such a colossal failure.
And Sophie, what are your thoughts?
Well, Jack, this is a PR disaster for CNN. The problem we have in the media is when there is a conflict of interest, like Caroline rightly points out, as a journalist, you must back away from the story. Now, obviously, they're brothers here. Chris was heavily conflicted. He needed to step out of the story and stay well away from it. It appears from all these allegations he did not do that. And as a result, CNN have said he's breached some of his duties while on this mega pay packet. So as you rightly put, Jack, the sympathy vote for Chris Cuomo is very small. A lot of people won't be feeling any sympathy for him, and he should know better. He's a journalist who's been in the game for a very long time. He's one of the most high-profile journalists in America. He needs to absolutely back away from this story. He appears that he has not done that. And this could cost him his entire career. And that's where that trust breaks down between the public and the media. They want to trust journalists. And once that trust is broken, it's very hard to win it back.
Well said, Sophie.